Shabbat morning story time. It is so great to see all of you today as we come together for another Shabbat morning with some singing and some stories. Let's begin by singing Shabbat Shalom to one another. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Chiri, biri, biri, bim. Bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, hey, Shabbat, Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Maya Hayom, Shabbat, Shalom, Maya Hayom, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. All right, Caden, have a seat. So this morning, I'm actually going to tell you a story first before we get into our books. In the Torah this week, we're reading a great story. It comes from a place called Beshalach, and it's the story of our ancestors, all of the Jewish people a long, long time ago, who left slavery in Egypt. When Pharaoh said finally that they could leave Egypt and Moses led them out, they came to a sea. And Moses lifted up his arms and his staff that God had given him, and God blew a great blast of air, and the sea parted, and all of the people started walking through. And all of the people were amazed that the sea had parted, and there were walls of water high, high, high above their heads. And they could see in the water the fish and the dolphins and the other animals that lived in the water, and they could see the plants that lived underwater as they walked across from one place to another, from where they were slaves in Egypt to freedom on the other side. And in the middle of this great group of people, thousands and thousands of people, all looking up, all amazed at what was happening around them, were two people, David and Shmuel. And David and Shmuel were complainers. They liked to complain about everything. So as they were walking, they were about a quarter of the way. They were just a little bit into walking through the sea. And David turned to Shmuel and said, Shmuel, look at this mud. You think Moses could have at least given us dry ground to walk on? My feet are sticking in the mud. Shmuel said, I know what you mean. This is gross. And they kept walking and they kept walking. They got about halfway through, and Shmuel turned to David and said, David, this water from the walls around us, it's getting me all wet. You think Moses could have kept the water still, kept the water apart? But no, he had to bring us through this place where I'm getting soaking wet. I might as well take a bath, I'm so wet. And David said, Shmuel, I know, this is awful. Why would he take us this way? They kept walking and kept walking. They got a little bit farther on, almost to the end, and David turned to Shmuel and said, Shmuel, my back hurts. This walk is too long. It's too far. I don't know why we couldn't have gone faster. I don't know why we couldn't have taken a boat across. I don't know what's going on. But why couldn't have Moses gone to a better route? Shmuel said, I know. And they kept complaining, and they kept complaining, and they kept complaining. And the sad thing was, they were the only two Israelites who missed the miracle around them. So for us, the reminder is that sometimes things may not be as pleasant, may not be as nice as we want them to be. But There's always going to be something good around us. There's always going to be a miracle. There's always going to be beauty in the world. That's the thing we should be looking for. Our first book this morning is called The Three Billy Goats Gruff, and it's by Paul Gadot. Once upon a time, there were three billy goats. They lived in a valley, and the name of all three billy goats was Gruff. There was very little grass in the valley, and the billy goats were hungry. They wanted to go up the hillside to a fine meadow full of grass and daisies where they could eat and eat and eat and get fat. But on the way up there was a bridge over a rushing river, and under the bridge lived a troll who was mean as he was ugly. First, the youngest billy goat Gruff decided to cross the bridge. Trip, trap, went the bridge. "Who's that tripping over my bridge?" roared the troll. "Oh, it is only I, the tiniest billy goat Gruff," said the billy goat in his very small voice, "and I'm going to the meadow to make myself fat." "No, you're not," said the troll, "for I'm coming to gobble you up." "Oh, please don't take me. I'm too little, that I am," said the billy goat. "Wait till the second billy goat Gruff comes. He's much bigger." "Well, then be off with you," said the troll. A little later, the second billy goat Gruff came to cross the bridge. Trip, trap, went the bridge. "Who's that tripping over my bridge?" roared the troll. "Oh, it's only I, the second billy goat Gruff, and I'm going up to the meadow to make myself fat," said the billy goat, and his voice was not so small. "No, you're not," said the troll, "for I'm coming to gobble you up." "Oh, please don't take me. Wait a little till the third billy goat Gruff comes. He's much bigger." "Very well, be off with you," said the troll. Then up came the third billy goat Gruff. Trip, trap, went the bridge. The third billy goat Gruff was so heavy, the bridge creaked and groaned under him. "Who's that tramping over my bridge?" roared the troll. "It is I, the big billy goat Gruff," said the billy goat, and his voice was as loud as the troll's. "Now I'm coming to gobble you up," roared the troll. "Well, come along," said the big billy goat. "I've got 2 horns and 4 hard hooves. See what you can do." So up climbed that mean, ugly troll, and the big billy goat Gruff butted him with his horns, and he trampled him with his hard hooves. And he tossed him over the bridge into the rushing river. Then the billy goat Gruff went up the hillside to join his brothers. In the meadow, the 3 billy goats Gruff got so fat that they could hardly walk home again. They are probably there yet. So snip, snap, snout, this tale's told out. And our second book this morning is called Cranky Doodle, who says, "No, I do not want to go to town." And it's by Tom Engelberger, and the pictures are by C.C. Bell. I'm bored. We could go to town. Town? No way. I hate going to town. There are too many people in town. They all run around in a hurry and ring bells and eat pies, and then they yell at each other to stop running around ringing bells and eating pies. There is nothing good to do in town. Why would I want to go to town? We could go shopping. Shopping? I hate shopping. I have too much stuff already. It's all junk. They don't make stuff like they used to. It falls apart as soon as you get it home. And the prices. I might as well throw my money in an outhouse hole. Why would I want to go shopping? You could buy a feather for your hat. A feather for my hat? I'd look like a fool with a feather stuck in my hat. Everybody would laugh at me. In the name of General George Washington, why would I want to put a feather in my hat? You could call it macaroni. Call what macaroni? Your hat with the feather in it. First of all, why would I want to call my hat macaroni? I don't want to call my hat anything. It's just a hat. Second of all, why would putting a feather in my hat turn it into macaroni? It would still be a hat, not macaroni. Look at this hat. Does it look almost like macaroni to you? I don't care how many feathers you put in it. It's still just a hat. And besides, I don't even like macaroni. Macaroni is just another word for fancy. Says you. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Macaroni isn't fancy. It's macaroni. You know what's fancy? Lasagna. Lasagna is fancy. Lasagna has all those little ripples in it, and then it gets baked with cheese and tomatoes and vegetables. Then you eat it with some garlic bread. Now that's fancy. Okay, you can call your hat lasagna then. I am not going to call my hat anything. I'm not going to stick a feather in it. I don't like my hat. It's ugly. Instead of buying a feather for it, I'm going to throw it in the trash. Look, here it goes, into the trash. It's gone. Goodbye, ugly hat. Have fun at the dump. Now I don't have a hat, so I don't need a feather, so I don't need to go shopping, so I don't need to go to town. You could buy a new hat. Confound it, pony. Are you trying to drive me crazy? How can I make myself more clear? I do not want to go to town. I do not want a new hat. I do not want macaroni. I do not want a feather. I do not want any other clothing, any other pasta, or any other parts of a bird. I do not want anything that they have in town. Let them keep their town junk in town. Even if I did want something from town, which I do not, town is just too far. I'm exhausted from standing here arguing with you all day. I do not want to go to town. I will not go to town, and I cannot go to town. Oh, please. I could give you a ride. No way. You smell terrible. What? Oh, how could you be so cruel? I can't help the way I smell. I smell like a pony. This is the way ponies are supposed to smell. And hey, aren't you the one who's supposed to give me a bath? But no, Sob. You're always too busy. You'd rather just complain all the time. Sniff, snob, snort. Gee whiz. All right. We can go to town. Yeehaw! Nice hat. Thanks, pal. The end. So it was great seeing you all here this morning for Shabbat morning story time. Our Shabbat morning service starts at 10:30 this morning, and we're going to celebrate Shabbat together and also the bat mitzvah of Jolie Deichman, as she's going to read from the Torah today, and we are going to call her as the newest adult member of the Jewish community. So I hope you'll join us for services in just under an hour. And then tonight at 7:30, join with Mike back on Facebook as we make Havdalah and say farewell to Shabbat for another week. We've got a lot more coming up over the next weeks and months here at CDT virtually, and as we get warmer out in person back outside. I hope to see you all very, very soon. Have a great week, everyone, and Shalom. Shalom, Chaverim. Shalom, Chaverim. Shalom. Shalom. Lehitraut. Lehitraut. Shalom. Shalom. Goodbye.